And we are coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler, and I'm joined by
Mark.
Sheen Washable.
Nope.
Yep.
Kyle.
Souls.
Did you just say Kyle?
Kyle.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. We're out of here. Yep. J-Mart. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. J-Mart.
Just kidding. Brother Souls is back.
And the Red Baron, whose chair has sunk all the way down.
He's in a sunken place today.
Today's show was brought to you by the Edmund Fitzgerald. Wow.
All right.
Hey, the Edmund Fitzgerald's awesome. You guys didn't sit here and tell me the Edmund Fitzgerald wasn't a great marine vessel?
It was a great marine vessel.
I listen. I don't have enough info to argue here.
Well, listen to the song, and you'll need all the info you need.
It's very sad that it sunk.
Very sad. Anyway. So, yeah. We're here. Full house today. We were supposed to have a special guest, but Mock lied to us.
Called in sick.
No, Mock lied. He was never even in Connecticut.
That's not true.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Oh, well, there we go. See? OJ proved it. And he's innocent.
What would Judge Judy say?
Yo, like $40. Something she would say.
All right.
I'm not wrong.
I guess not.
All right, starting lineups. Round the horn. Starting with
Kyle.
Brother Souls.
So I have
Brother Souls.
from a small town brewery, Mountain Ale.
That's actually the name of it, a small town brewery.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm telling the listeners.
It's a nice citrus brew.
You don't review it yet.
I'm not.
Are you just reading the label?
Just reading the label.
Good for you.
That's all I got.
All right.
I have from Black Hog here in Oxford, Connecticut, the Hog Lager.
Our friends at Black
Our
Hawk.
friends, yes, good friends.
Oxford's a pretty cool place.
That is a great place.
Kyle has some weird fascination with that town.
He loves it.
We bought mud jugs in Oxford.
Wrapping up the joke beer series, I have Well, It Ain't Good. Artisan water exposed to yeast, convicted without any proof.
Excellent.
And we know it's a Berkshire product. We'll just find out what it is later.
Also from Connecticut, I have the Firefly Hollow Brewing Lizard's Breath IPA from Firefly Hollow in Bristol, Connecticut. Lizard's Breath. Actually, I'm a big fan of the can.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty cool.
I have two evils, guys or ghosts, once again.
I think what you meant to say was you have heartburn.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Souls, what do you got?
Oh, so I have from Small Town Brewery, Not Your Father's Mountain Ale.
Now, that's a citrus brew.
It's a nice
correct?
citrus brew.
Oh, a nice one.
It looks like they tried to make a drink off a terrible soda.
Yeah, you know who's going to get hit in about 4 seconds? That guy.
That was way less than 4 seconds.
But it was a good how you doing, but you didn't say it.
It was all shoulder.
Nah, you got boob in there. Nah, you got the boob. I saw it. Yeah.
So let's crack these babies open, huh?
Still got to do our toast, Kyle.
We got to crack it open first.
The guy's had his beard.
We're
cracked
changing it
already
open.
anyway.
We're changing the.
God, you didn't even give your toast yet.
Swigs it.
He just really wanted it.
I did. All right. So I guess I'll go first.
No,
Yes.
That's why I'm looking at you.
My toast excellence to Cassius Marsh for sticking it to the Patriots by saying they're not fun.
Didn't we already know that though?
By saying they're not fun. Dun, dun,
The guy wanted to
dun,
retire
dun,
from
dun.
My toast is to Johnny Damon for saying he supports the Yankees over the Red Sox. That is hilarious. He was a big part of that 2004 team, and he's just like, nope.
And then wasn't good as a
That
Yankee.
guy looks like Jesus.
I'm giving my toast excellence. That's a shot right there. To another throwback jersey. Back-to-back weeks. The Steelers.
He smiled like we're supposed to be happy for him.
Well, I'm happy. I love this type of stuff. They're wearing their 78-79 year, which is really no different than their entire 70s jersey. I don't know why they picked that one. There's not really a distinction between the two, but they're very cool. I'm very excited this year to see them wear them. So,
No more bumblebees?
nope, those are done.
Not forever.
Good.
Probably not forever, but they're done
Damn
for
it.
now.
I love the bumblebees so much.
Me as
It's a
well.
prison uniform.
Me as well. J-Mart?
So, when asked on playing with LeBron James, J.R. Smith, who gets my toast of excellence for obvious reasons, says, I tell him all the time he has the opportunity to play with me as well. Legend. Legend.
I have two toasts of excellence. One is to the NHL because they're making the third alternate jersey available option again for teams. So now it's not just going to be their primary color in white, which means we get to come back with the fun jerseys because they have some pretty sick jerseys out there that teams get to choose from. And then my other one is to Danny Farquhar, throwing out the first pitch the other day at the White Sox game after his first appearance on the diamond since the brain hemorrhage on April 21st.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Just
He had a
happened.
brain hemorrhage. His brain,
Started bleeding.
it hemorrhaged. What do you want me to tell you, Rebecca? Yeah, his brain hemorrhaged and he passed out in the dugout. And
Took
almost
another
died.
at bat.
Yeah. Well, he's a pitcher.
Well, he pinch hit. He's like, hey guys, we got a little situation here. Let me get up. Let me get that at bat.
We get a
before I
few
go.
swings
I
in.
can feel something coming. All right, so toast of excellence. You ever open up the beer and the foam comes up and you just watch it to see if it fills up the top before you actually drink it? You're just like, fuck.
J.
Adds the j after the.
Now, Paul, I wanted to ask you.
Ooh.
You kept the tally from a couple weeks ago of shots owed.
Oh yeah,
There's still a member that's got to pay up.
Oh my! There's
You
There
missed
are-
out on the great
There's a lot of
Opa from
sediment in
last
there.
week.
floaters.
We actually killed that bottle last week.
Yeah, there it is over there, the Opa on the windowsill. I'm gonna talk to the store owner that still has them. I'm gonna see if I can strike up a deal.
Is that a fish?
Yeah, it's Ballast
it's
Point. They're the ones
Ballast
that have all
Point.
the fit. Remember that really terrible?
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Yeah, that terrible beer we had.
Oh man,
Interesting.
Kendall will never not like it.
So you owe two.
it looks like you went out to a pond and just kind of dunked the bottle in it.
I hope you get the hair that's in it.
It wasn't quite a pond, but it was.
Wow.
Is it good, Jeff? On a scale of 1 to 9, give me an estimate.
Is 9 worse or best?
Best.
5, somewhere in the middle. It's not.
I
don't know.
It'd be pretty good over ice, I feel.
It's
Put a little umbrella in it.
there's a lot going on, but it's not too hurtful. I'll say.
For now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, you're turning green.
Oh no, Jeff turned into a
I am
frog.
turning green. That's time for your Kermit souls.
I can't.
Come
do
on,
that.
give us some
Only
Kermit.
Vito's good at that.
Give us some Kermit.
I can't do it.
Just a little.
You do it.
I don't have a Kermit voice.
Neither do I.
You give it a shot.
Can you do a
Lou.
Ray Romano?
No.
Oh, 'cause they're the same person.
Jeff, give me a Kermit.
I don't have a Kermit for you.
Paul?
well, Jeff, you could do Plankton.
I could do plankton,
That's green.
but I won't.
but I won't. All right, so we got just a shot. You have your trivia.
I do. I saw Jeff and was inspired. This one is about the New Orleans Saints.
Whoa.
Now, here's a really household name for you.
Team Gleason.
Dave Waymer. He's the interception leader for the New Orleans Saints.
For now.
How many picks does he have?
Career?
3. No.
Mock goes first.
We'll let Jeff take the reins.
Nope,
It's
Mock
his
goes
team.
first.
17.
Hold on.
No, that's all right. Can I take it back? Can I rescind? Nobody else has guessed yet.
Sorry.
28.
26.
He's such a rat.
31.
27.
The correct answer is 37.
Wow, he's much better than I thought.
Really glad I rescinded my offer before I did guess.
So it wasn't 3.
I've never even heard of Dave Waymer.
It's okay.
I'm usually up on stuff like that.
I'm just happy that Mock
Saints,
lost.
right? What are we doing here?
Kyle, get
Yes,
your
I know.
dirty hands away
No,
from me.
you deserved this.
And he lost on double shot trivia day, which we get to two shots
no.
next week.
You got your 2 shot now.
All right.
Pond
No, no,
water.
no.
Now let's just go around the horn with it.
I'm not gonna say no.
All right.
I just wish it was like a strainer. I saw that hair. I'm gonna get it.
Is there actually a hair in there?
There's a little white. Well, maybe it's like a towel
it's not
fiber.
in
It's not a
there.
hair.
What is it then?
It's just like a floaty from the sediment from the bottle. You fucking retard.
I don't know. It's
You're the only one here that has white hair, so it's yours.
I have very long white hair. That's a little one.
This is right after a haircut.
Yeah, that's like skunk hair. So, don't look so excited.
It looks like a mixture of piss and vomit.
Palm it.
It's different.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of like.
A lot of flavors happening.
We about to find out.
It's funny though. Once you sit on ice, I'm like, maybe it could work.
It's very weird.
What do you think, Kyle?
Take a shot, man. You'll see.
Take a
Good swing.
shot, man.
There's a lot of stuff floating around in there.
Yeah, well, if we just finish it, we can get rid of it.
Oh, you got the skunk hair. I'm gonna get the skunk hair.
This is like I feel like this is what like medicine tasted like in like the 1830s.
So many. I tell you, the ice thing though, it almost tastes like a melted like Slurpee.
It's a Slurpee that some kid poured
Rebecca?
vodka into. Maybe a little brandy.
Whoa! You're skipping someone on the around the
Yeah,
horn.
she's busy. We'll get to her later. She'll have a shot. We got an hour and a half left. We haven't talked about sports at all.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, so anyway, back to badminton. I think the shuttlecock should be increased by a 100th of a centimeter.
I disagree. I think we're looking at probably the best the game has ever been, and why mess with something that's not broke?
I'm
That's
gonna
right.
kick you in your shuttlecock.
There it is.
So Kyle, what are we talking about today? You're the content manager.
One, I thought we had a guest today.
That shouldn't stop you from having a backup
Yeah,
show.
it should.
Are you unprepared?
Today I am. So, we're going to talk playoffs. Playoffs.
NFL playoffs.
AFC Championship game, Baltimore, Cincinnati.
Gross. First we'll start NBA Finals.
The one game.
The one game, that's right.
Because they, am I the only one that's livid? Why are there like 4 days of rest in between NBA games?
Money.
If it wasn't for
Drag it
if
out.
it wasn't for television like purposes, I'm pretty sure the NHL playoffs would be like one consecutive week.
Probably.
But, so the first game was what, on the first or the second? The first, right? I don't know actually. But
Well,
regardless, if it
like
goes
what,
to Game
June?
7, yeah.
No, it was on Thursday.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's
so
May
even
31st.
May
back.
31st.
So May 31st is Game 1. If it goes to Game 7, it's scheduled for the 17th.
We're already 3 games into the Stanley Cup.
That's crazy.
Well, LeBron's got to heal up. He's getting old.
That's true. Shoulders probably hurt from carrying everyone.
Well, the problem is they're just like they let Game 1 happen how it was going to happen. Now they're writing the script for Game 2. They're
Right.
like, okay, all right, it's in Golden State. And it's like, what do you think we should do? And the head writer goes, I think we got to stick to our guns. What have we done the past 3? I was like, Golden State dominant Game 2, and then back against the wall. I think that we shoot Kevin Love in the face, and then
Sniper.
and then we just we somehow get Zaza Pachulia onto the Cavs, and then LeBron just takes over.
All right.
I think they just got to get Coach Perk out there with some minutes.
The Full House video is the greatest thing. If you haven't seen it, there's like a Full House themed video of the NBA Finals season 4. It's just so perfect. Kevin Love was so funny in it. Coach Perk at the end, it's so good. I was upset because I sent it to this group chat and nobody responded.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll take the
should be.
blame on that. It's my fault.
Well,
should.
everybody could have responded.
Well, he said not to.
What?
Yeah, Kendall told us not to.
Yeah.
That's right. In a separate group chat, I said, don't respond to that video that other kid sent.
It's pretty
Actually, I
hurtful.
forgot that I actually said that to him until Kyle reminded me.
Yeah, he paid
pretty
us
hurtful.
like $3.
So that's on me. I'm sorry.
He's not sorry.
Wow.
I gotta get
And
out
in
of
another
think-
group chat,
here. You think
I
you
said I
know a
wouldn't
guy.
be sorry.
You think you know a guy, and then you realize that he's just the Aflac duck.
Dude,
Let's give it a shot.
lucky for you. You're an Aflac duck.
Affleck.
Let's see.
Oh, so
It's all right.
real quick, just beer related. I've never been a fan of the can koozies. Mock's a big fan of them.
I like them.
But I found a can koozie that we're selling at the liquor store that I really, really want. It just says state champion, and then it has 2 ducks and a goose.
All right.
Oh, yeah. That's a must. You know, I got you, Mock, a bunch of koozies, and you denied them.
What do you mean?
I got you those Fox ones. You said you were happy with the ones you had.
I don't remember this at all.
Thank you, but no.
Anyway, so let's get back to sports. All right, so game 1 of the NBA Finals. I mean, we're not going to. We'll do the quick JR discussion and we'll get it out of the way. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, shit happens. I mean,
Yep.
if this was a regular season game or if it was game 1 of the first round of the playoffs, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Even if it was J.R. Smith and
He
the Cavs.
Bucknered.
Shit happens. There's always an instant in every sport you can go back. There's always, even greats, just they lose their focus for a minute. It sucked that it happened when it did, but whatever.
All I'm saying is,
The memes, hilarious.
Yeah, big fan.
I don't know if you guys-
80% free throw shooter at the line. It's on George Hill, not JR. Bottom line. You need to make a fucking free throw. It's game 1 against the Warriors. LeBron just put his heart and soul out, and you miss a free throw?
Yeah.
Andre Drummond would have missed it too.
All right, but that's not. It's George Hill. It's an
You're talking about somebody that's
80% shooter.
Yeah, you're talking about
It's
somebody
gonna
that
happen, though.
shoots
You're gonna
half.
miss a free throw.
But
once
really?
in a while.
You're going to miss the game-winning free throw
Yeah,
at game
it's
1 of
gonna
your
happen.
fucking NBA Finals.
Just put it back up.
So it's on Hill, but I put it to rest by thinking that, you know what? It would have been Golden State ball. They would have scored with the 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It just would have just happened because that's the way it
It's
works.
an easier loss to swallow, though.
Yeah.
I like watching all the other Cav players' reactions though as
Oh,
JR
yeah.
dribbles out. And I was like, no,
Oh, man.
turn around.
It was painful. The fact that JR out-rebounded Durant was kind of amazing in itself. If he went back up, odds are, yeah, he would have got blocked. But
The only thing that would have been funnier is if JR got the rebound and got confused and heaved it full court at the other basket
Oh, made it.
and scored.
Run around the court like you just won.
That's
We did it,
My other
guys.
question is what is JR doing in that position for the free throw? That's usually your bigs down there getting the rebound.
Yeah,
Why
it's
is JR Smith down there and LeBron up at the top of the key?
To stop the possible fast break.
JR could equally defend the fast break.
Big difference.
Not
There's
LeBron's
no
a
big
better
difference. It's a
defender.
fast break. You have 4 seconds. They have to pass the ball. If you can't stay in front, you don't belong in the NBA.
That's probably what they were thinking, though.
That's not what they were thinking because they clearly weren't thinking.
Well, he got the rebound anyways.
Regardless, this all stems back to George Hill blew that game.
They could have just
Who
won
was,
in
on
overtime.
who was on the floor real quick, though? Do we know who was on the floor for that free throw for the Cavs? With LeBron, JR, George Hill, Love was on the floor. No, Love was on the bench,
Love's
right?
on the bench. I think
Tristan Thompson had been ejected.
it was Jeff Green.
Jeff Green and...
Mock Sheen
Mock.
Walker.
Anyway, so...
There was no really bigs out there.
So, who's the worst free throw shooter on the Cavs, active roster right now?
Probably Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Is he really bad?
Probably like 50 to 60.
Oh, okay. No. I would say because that's the instance when you after the first free throw you just have LeBron come over to talk to George Hill and quietly snap his leg in half, so that he has to get taken off, and then the Warriors get to pick who takes the free throw. But if it's
No, I hate to say it, but this could have been Jose Calderon's moment. That guy
he wouldn't have
doesn't
missed.
Do you think he missed on purpose?
No.
He had money on the Warriors.
I watched one video, someone, I don't even know why, but they zoomed in on his face, and he just looked terrified going up for that second free throw. Which I don't get it. I guess, it's a pressure scenario, but
It's just
he's a vet. George Hill's a great player.
yeah. It just this game just kind of showed though that the Cavs stand zero chance. I mean, they fought back, but another thing too is this postseason Warriors not been good defensively. They
No.
have no good defensively.
Don't have to when you
They
can
just
score
know they're gonna
130
score.
points.
Clay Thompson's the best player on that team.
I thought they didn't stand a chance, but the fact that they lost, I think it's even lesser. But they showed that they could compete with Golden State, and they showed their weaknesses on both sides of the ball. I don't know. I just don't want to see Golden State win, but
Yeah.
I just want this to end. I'm tired of this finals every year.
I feel like if Golden State wins, we can move on to new teams in the finals.
Either
Golden
way,
State's won the best of 5.
Either way, we're gonna fucking blame the refs every game because that's all we do.
See, and that's the thing. Jim and I were talking about it last night. Like, that's probably my least favorite thing about the NBA. My biggest pet peeve is like there's always like, the Warriors starting lineup, for this game, and it has like Curry, Durant, Thompson, Green, and then a ref in a Golden State uniform, or like, the refs blew those calls. They, Harden gets all the call, whatever. It's like, okay, I understand it, but all the refs are on the floor for is to call fouls now. That's all it is. The amount, I wouldn't be surprised if this NBA, just the postseason, if the number was above 300 for missed everyday routine calls.
Oh yeah,
double dribbles, carries, backcourt violations, travels, 5-second rule inbounds, improperly called timeouts. Like, they don't call anything.
On the missed free throw, Draymond Green violated.
Stepped early.
Yeah, like there's just so much shit that it's basic fundamental refereeing that's not present, and it hasn't been, and it won't be.
And
It's tough.
the thing is I feel like the ball movement is so much better these days, and like the game is much more fast paced. That they should really I think they should consider implementing another ref. I think
for sure.
I think
Without a doubt.
there's 3 refs, right? Because you got one who plays on the fan side, you have one who plays on the bench side, and one who plays on the baseline. I think they should implement another ref, and they should take 4 corners.
Now, would you oppose another ref on the screen the whole time?
What do you mean,
Like
seeing it
on
TV?
site
Seeing
in the
it on-
front row with the screens, so they
No.
have multiple angles?
No.
Because I know some people would hate it because it's technical, but I think the game needs it. There's just too much
I saw this thing.
much traveling bullshit every game.
I saw this thing the other day, and it made me think. Someone said, don't be surprised if in the next 5 years, NBA coaches just have like a Bluetooth button thing that they can just push to call a timeout at any moment in time instead of having to get the ref's attention, or like trying to time it with like a timer or something like that. You think that's something that will ever happen, or do you think the coaches will always have to call a timeout, like to the ref?
I think the coaches are going to have to keep calling it.
I wouldn't be shocked though if that was a thing in the future.
Yeah.
Be weird, but
It seems like in all sports they're progressively trying to make things easier. So I think that's a very feasible thing that could happen.
Well, we're seeing it in baseball now. They're talking about bringing in the robot umpires to call balls
I
and
really
strikes.
fucking hope not.
Takes away the human element of the game.
Exactly.
That's what it is. I mean, that's part of the excitement. It's just like, I mean, even in the show, when we play the show, it's like you'll go out there and you'll throw a pitch that's half on the line and half off of the strike zone, and they'll call it a ball, and then they'll throw the same pitch to you and it's a strike. Yeah, it's frustrating as shit, but it's part of
Yeah,
it.
it
It's
makes
part
it
of the game.
realistic.
The way I see it now, with any sport, because they're talking, changes in baseball, football, everything. There's so much more money involved in these sports now than there was in the past, and I think they just try and get it right because people have so much invested in the games now. If you look back, I don't know, say 40 years ago, there wasn't as much money in sports as there is now. It's a different commodity.
People don't. Yeah, but the part of it too is that people don't. I feel like half the athletes now don't even play the sport because they love it.
No.
I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if like a good chunk of professional athletes were just like, someone was like, "Hey, you're really good at basketball," and then they're just like, "Oh, okay, like I'll just work on it," and then they're like, "I could turn this into a paycheck in the NBA one day," and that I don't know.
Which to me, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I do.
I mean, but
The amount of money that we pay people is ridiculous.
oh, it is. You're absolutely right. But I mean, if you're good at it, why not do it? But they do make a ridiculous amount of money.
I fear that every sport's getting pushed to like a point of simulation almost. There's like without the human element. If we go to robot umpires,
But that's
it's
what
just
I
gonna
mean.
Feel simulated and
It's just because there's so much invested into the games now
oh yeah.
that they want to make sure it's right.
They're so critical of the people. Like, oh, well, we have to make sure that there's no mistakes.
Yeah, but the
no
thing
mistakes.
is like, so like they want to make sure it's right. Okay, what happens if the robots malfunction?
No,
And
you're absolutely
exactly
right.
now we have to put. What are you going to do? You can't if it's the 73rd game of the season, Mets versus the Cardinals, and the robots in the field are malfunctioning. None of the robots are working. They can't get them to work. What are you going to do? You can't put a human umpire out there. It's not fair to the players. Everybody else got pristine calling of balls and strikes. So what are we going to do? You got to cancel the game.
No, I agree
What's
with
the
you.
gender on the robot?
Apache helicopter, of course.
I don't think they should
You know,
move
people are
towards
gonna
the
get
robot
sensitive
thing.
too. That's all we do.
It's gonna at that point. Honestly, at that point, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just have these athletes just sit there. Like they should just sit in the dugout when it's their at bat, and just have an like a automatic bat swing thing, and they look at the pitch coming in at them on like a VR machine, and just go swing. That's it.
I do like, especially like in baseball, how they put in like the more replay. Just because like in big spots, you don't want to see like a blown call like alter like especially like a big game. I like the replay, but I don't like the automation.
No,
I
agree.
I don't care for that.
Full on.
But you know, like God, who was the pitcher that got shafted on the perfect game?
Galarraga.
Yes.
Yeah, on the Tiger.
You know what I mean?
right?
Like that's something that should have been able to be replayed and corrected. You know, the guy just threw a perfect game and it was blown because of a bad call.
Yep.
You know what though?
A very bad call.
Jim Joyce cried.
But
real
but
hard
that
after
doesn't matter.
And he gave him a car.
But that doesn't matter.
I know, but he tried to make
Yeah,
up
but-
for it.
Where's Galarraga's career gone?
Oh,
Think
he's
of.
been
I'm
out
not
for a
gonna
while.
say that determined his career, but
But even so, I don't know. Like I like the more replay, but the automation I think is a bad idea.
yeah.
I don't know. For me, sports just aren't fun anymore.
Everything's just getting technical. Like I'm gonna
Hockey's
use
the only
football
thing-
as the best example. Football is kind of unbearable with all the rule changes. I just hate going into a game not even understanding the rules. And I think they worked on it this year, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. It's just there's too much emphasis on replays now. It's I don't know.
That's what I mean,
Last 2
it's-
minutes of football taking like longer than the entire first quarter took. Like it's they replay everything. It's annoying. It's just ugh.
Oh, it's a scoring drive. Oh, let's review it.
Yeah, really.
But that's what it's just because there's so much invested in it now. You know, if a receiver say has 9 touchdowns versus 10, that could make a big difference in his contract. You know, like there's so much money just being thrown around sports.
I think they should do away with incentives in your contracts for sports. I don't think. I don't know. I don't like.
It's
the
big in
incentives.
trades too. Like, oh well,
Yeah.
the value of this player is down because he didn't, rush for 500 yards.
See, I'm pretty sure I don't know about other sports, but in football, I don't think your incentives hit against your cap. So that's where teams kind of make some cap
Yeah.
space. You know, that's where like when Brady restructures, it goes to more like incentive things, and he's got to throw 10 touchdowns in a season. So he hits that incentive
And he
by
gets a gift
week
card-
3.
Gets a gift card to Red Lobster.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I don't think the incentives hit your cap the same way the salary portion
But
does.
it's just like another one of those things that kind of takes away from the sport. Because imagine this would never be a scenario for Brady, but imagine he does need that 10th touchdown, and instead of running it up the middle, Seahawks, they throw the ball and throw a pick, all for like it's.
Yeah.
Well, you see it. That happened. I forget who it was last year. He needed like 5 more receptions or something to hit his incentive, and they like didn't throw the ball to him.
Good.
I forget who it was. It may have been Jarvis Landry. I think he needed a few more receptions or something.
They screwed him then because he ended up in Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
It's just the money rules everything in sport. It's just what it became.
Thanks, Pete Rote. No, I'm just kidding.
He betted for his team.
I have a
One
question.
step closer to putting him in the Hall of Fame now.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Are you gonna cry?
I think they're a step. I think they're a step closer towards that happening now. I mean, now that sports gambling is
I'll
legal
be
and everything.
Pissed though if they do it after he dies.
I think that's when it's going to happen.
I'll be so pissed.
Yeah.
No
I
one's
really-
gonna touch his fucking mark. No one's gonna get 4,000
Are you
hits.
serious?
Well,
Austin Meadows just won.
if
Rookie of the
Ichiro
Month.
played here his whole career, if Ichiro played here his whole career, he probably would have blown it out of the water.
Yeah, but he
But he
didn't.
didn't.
He didn't. I know, but you're saying nobody's going to touch it. We already saw a guy.
At
that
least for
could've.
not another 20 to 30 years. Was now baseball is an all or nothing sport.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a home run or strikeout. You don't.
Oh, the New York Mets.
There's not a lot of people that just get base hits all the time.
Jose Altuve, Joey Votto.
Okay, but how old are they now?
How old are who?
How old is Jose Altuve?
Mid 20s.
Okay, is he at 1,000 hits yet?
How do I know? I don't have
I
the
think
stats.
so. Tuve
Okay,
might be.
but
I don't know,
just-
but he might be. No, but you're right, Kyle. I mean,
just like ruffling his feathers.
the baseball is a very different game now than it was. There's much more power involved than there was. You are right.
Pete Rose was a cleanup hitter who hit just singles.
Joe Mauer.
Not going to come close to it.
Joe Mauer.
Kendall, did you watch the Mets game at all last night?
No, I was working.
I was watching it with Kyle's dad, and they brought up a really interesting idea, which I thought was terrible.
The announcers?
Yeah, the announcers.
Home announcers?
That's
the one. Yeah.
I think so. Who are their home announcers?
Gary Cohn. Kyle gave me the nod. Gary Cohn and
Keith
Ron
Hernandez.
Darling and Keith Hernandez.
Yes. So the game went into extra innings. So they're in like the 12th inning. Now they're talking about how they can adjust baseball for extra innings. And they threw out two scenarios and they were terrible.
Okay.
The first one was any player bat any amount of times.
So kind of like a shootout in.
Yeah. So the example they gave was if you have Mike Trout, you can have him hit. If he hits a double, you put a runner on second and he hits again.
No, this is just to shorten the game.
Yeah. They're saying this. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So then they said, instead of just repeating at bats, you can just change your whole batting order. So like if coming up in the top of the 10th, say again, Trout is supposed to be your fifth batter. Nope, he bats leadoff, and you just change everything.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But it's interesting, but
They're saying it.
I just like it how it is. You know,
I
if
don't,
the
think
game goes,
I don't think players would want to do that.
No, me
No.
neither.
if a game goes 20 innings, it goes 20 innings. It's
But
baseball.
if you change the
Who
batting
cares?
order, somebody's going to fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh well, the Mets already did it this year in the
With
first
a
inning.
leadoff guy. Also, they blew it in like the 14th or
Past 2 weeks, Familia, he lost the save role. They have a Gazelman in there now, who was a starter a year ago. It's just been absolute disaster. And it's the home run ball.
yeah.
And who do we pick up?
Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista, who, to his credit, has not played awful.
He almost had a walk-off.
But, it's just like, hey, let's get somebody who's, older, who could fit in with the other guys. We need some guys in the clubhouse that know the same type of jokes.
It's only a matter of time before you get Hanley Ramirez.
It's going to happen.
Fuck Jose Bautista.
I know it's going to happen.
Hanley's going to come in and play the outfield.
Yeah. And they're-
Having a bad season.
yeah, he's done. Well, he's been done. But
He's batting like 120.
yeah.
Still a great rapper.
The best in the Dominican Republic.
Real good at was it domestic violence also?
Something like that. Yeah, he's good at that too.
Speaking of, you brought up rap music. Me and Kyle had an interesting conversation yesterday with his cousin Brian. He would like to talk to you about Southern hip hop and how it's terrible.
He's just ignorant. That's what it is.
Shout out Brian if you're
Yeah,
listening.
shout out to Brian, and I'm wearing your brother's work hat. Found it in my car before the show. Shout out to Safeway.
That's very funny.
Yeah. You know what? He could listen to all the J. Cole he wants. And and how boring he is as a rapper. Great. Anyway, back to the sports.
So yeah, I
It's
mean,
on the fans, I guess, right? No one's showing up for games, so we got to shorten them. Come
Well,
on,
they're too
everyone, spend
expensive.
hundreds of dollars. Go.
No one's showing up to games because people are getting paid $100 million.
That too.
You want to invest all this money into it. You can't ask the fans to keep. You can't ask the fans, be like, hey, we're going to double the ticket prices because we wanted to give this guy that you like 4 times the amount of money he deserves.
And you can't trust Derek Jeter to build a team, apparently.
well, now hold on. Are you saying the Stanton trade was bad?
I'm not saying the Stanton trade necessarily, but just every move other than that.
He walked into a disaster down there.
Yeah,
You tell it to Marcelo
but he made
Zuna.
it, but he didn't do anything to
20
improve
times
it.
worse.
I don't think he's made it worse. I think he's gearing up for just the full rebuild. He got rid of that giant contract. Great, don't get me wrong. Stanton was like their corner piece, but
He traded the whole outfield.
yeah, trade everybody.
But what drives me nuts is they hung on to Starlin Castro's contract, and they hung on to Riamoto, who should just get dealt. He's a huge piece and should be dealt.
I thought for sure they were going to turn and trade Castro.
There's no
Nobody
reason.
wants him.
There's no reason not to trade either.
Because of the contract.
I remember a couple weeks after the Stanton trade, they were talking that the Yankees might trade back for him. It's like, that'd be hilarious.
Think of the hype carried by him as a player, Starlin Castro. I mean, some of it was deserved, but there's not been the product that there's been, 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because now you're right. He's like an illness to the team. Like,
I just don't know. Real Muto's got to have so much trade value. He's a
Yeah, but it's just like
good catcher,
the
good
Marlins
hitter.
don't want to trade every good player that they have.
They have one.
But that's the thing.
Exactly.
To me, I think they have to. You have to, especially in baseball. When you rebuild in baseball, you trade your good players to get prospects. You get rid of contracts and you got to build through the front. You're going to be bad for a few years. I mean, the only team I can think that did almost an instant rebuild was the Yankees last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't supposed to be good, and they were a game away from the World Series. Baseball I see is like a slower rebuild.
But the only problem is you don't know what you're getting out of prospects. They could easily be busts.
Like Mickey Moniak. No, I'm just kidding.
But
He's too young.
I agree with you, but that's part of the process. I mean, if you trade a top guy for 3 prospects and 2 of them turn out to be good, even if one of whatever, that's part of that process to rebuild.
Because like the Roy Halladay trade with the Phillies, they traded the main piece back to the Blue Jays with Kyle Drabeck. He's now playing in independent league baseball.
But also, I mean, the Yankees traded for Gleyber, who was a prospect at the you know what I mean? Like, that's how it goes. It's you take your chances.
I mean, look at Jose Bautista. Fucking dick.
we're looking at the next great Met,
On the DL.
Joey Bats.
Speaking of,
The Mets always have
Noah
him again,
Syndergaard, 10-day DL, sore index finger.
That's just the dramas of every MLB player. It's a shame.
I was talking about this with a guy at work. Hockey players must look at baseball players and just laugh at them.
It's absurd.
Just
It's
laugh at
absurd.
them. It's unbelievable.
I mean, my side hurts from sleeping sometimes, but I still have to go to work.
What do you wake up like,
Oh
ow,
God, I can't perform.
for 10 days?
Yeah. Well, also, but I think that's kind of just baseball. I think that the DL is almost like an arbitrary amount of time. I don't know why they have the time set that it is.
Why can't they just scratch him from a start?
That's how it should be. I don't know why. Oh, someone can be hurt for 2 days and you're on the 40-day.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's just very arbitrary. It doesn't make any sense to me. It should just be you're injured until you're healthy. When you're ready to come back, you come back.
No.
I don't like it. Souls, thoughts on the DL?
It's whatever. So I think they use it as a rest time sometimes for just
Rest and
players.
recuperation, right? Yeah.
See, but you can do the same without having to put him out for 10 days.
Well, he's really only missing 2 starts. So
But what I mean is, if you're on the 10-day DL, you have to be out for 10 days.
okay.
So
Think of it as an everyday player.
They didn't
Not-
have
No,
to
no.
put him on the DL though.
that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm at. So, like, say like last night, they went 14 innings. If for whatever reason they need him to pitch, but can your finger last an inning to get, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I get it.
it backs you into a corner.
That's why they put him on the DL. Like, yeah, I wish they had like a 5-day DL. I think that would solve a lot of issues with pitchers because there's a lot of times a guy comes out because of like just soreness. He's fine, but he can't go on. And the 10-day DL, yeah, he's going to miss another start, which kind of sucks.
It's just
The 5-day would be great because you're not going to miss your next start, and you could call up a reliever or somebody to fill the void.
Is that why they do? If you're on the DL, are you still taking a roster spot?
Yeah.
Oh,
But it frees up a spot.
It
too.
frees
When
up
you're
a
on the
spot?
DL. You could
so
bring
then
someone on.
I guess that part makes sense.
Whereas if you keep them active, like then you're essentially going in with 24 guys.
Yeah.
But in the Syndergaard case,
That's what's that sore
It's
index finger.
laughable, and the Mets once again it's become laughable. It's early yet, but
Tell you, DeGrom had a good start last night.
he's been the bright spot.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting on like the Wheeler thing. To be where's the Wheeler? That's been expected. That was in Las
For
Vegas.
4 years.
I don't know.
Well,
Harvey's-
Zach Wheeler's just coming off of Tommy John. He's going to take a little while to get back.
No, I understand, but it's a typical
Johnny
Mets thing.
Venters came back from.
You know what though? Tommy John surgery is no longer bad. That's a rite of passage for MLB pitchers.
For real.
It's only a matter of time.
But it's just like it's like
you miss a
clockwork.
year and then you come back.
You miss a year, you struggle for that year, then you go back to dominant form.
Kyle, would you take just a voluntary Tommy John surgery?
No.
It's like you came out throwing heat.
I don't need it.
We'll
I don't
pencil you
want
down.
it.
We'll pencil you down. How much time do you need off work? 10 days?
Put you on the 10-day
I'd have to
DL.
go back in 10 days.
But
I was just gonna trade you.
That's
for some prospects.
send me off to
McDonald's.
Yeah, get some guys from Arby's looking real sharp.
Send me to
Yeah,
Jake's
that
way
guy was
back.
really nice that time we went. Kyle was chatting about the guy at Arby's. Remember your buddy?
Fuck that guy.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna trade Kyle for that guy from Arby's.
Fuck all Arby's now.
Wow.
Kyle, can you tell us
God
what happened?
damn.
'Cause you
No,
loved Arby's
we're
like
done.
last
We're
week.
done with this conversation.
What happened
Let's
at
talk
Arby's?
hockey, man.
Hockey.
Hockey.
Arby's got bought by Buffalo Wild Wings, so they stopped serving Pepsi products.
Fuck you.
even though Buffalo Wild
Yeah, I was
Wings
gonna
still
say.
serves Pepsi.
That's dumb.
It's the best Coke he's ever had.
That's right.
Anyways,
Kyle, that was hilarious.
let's
when
go
you
to
did that.
hockey.
All
Capital
right.
took a 2-1 lead. Ovechkin playing very well. He always plays well. Even if it doesn't light up the scoreboard,
Riddler rolls his eyes 3 times.
he knows it.
Kyle watches Ovechkin play in every season.
He's a big reason why they're there.
A third grader.
Tell me
third grader.
tell me
could
why-
have
tell me I'm
gave
wrong.
Me the same
Tell me
facts.
I'm wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying a third grader could tell me that too.
Not all third graders. Most of them, but not all of them.
Depends on the demographic.
Come on, Paul. Let's hear it.
Hear what?
Come on.
Come on, what? Hear what?
I want to hear what you have to say about the Capitals.
They're playing very well.
Nice. Let's go Knights.
What do you- I don't know what you want me to say.
Kyle,
Ovechkin,
did you just
go
wrap
nuts.
up our hockey talk?
What do you want me to say about Ovechkin? That, like,
Not Ovechkin, just the series in general, guy.
it's really great.
You know what? Fuck your attitude.
Okay? It is what it is. I'll
Take a
drink the
swig.
frog water.
It's very...
Ooh, GSWD's frog water. 80 proof. Plus 10.
It's very compelling. I have no idea what to expect every game.
Who are you rooting for, by the way?
Doesn't matter. Don't care.
I could.
I would be 100% ecstatic with either outcome.
Exactly. That's how I kind of feel too. Because I want Ovechkin to get one, but it's a great story if the Golden Knights pull
Listen,
it off.
if my Knights can pull it off, that'd
No.
be great.
You're a Rangers fan or a Bruins fan?
No, we talked about this already, Kyle. I just can't
He's
hype
a
up
New
the
Orleans
Stanley
fan.
Cup. That was the rule I was given.
Gotta buy merch.
I've been looking.
Not real till you get
Not a
merch.
fan until you get merch.
It's gotta be a lacrosse style jersey too.
Oh, fuck
You
that.
don't say that word on the show. Thank you.
Wax.
We probably just lost like 3 followers, but I don't care.
Now we're down to
my.
2.
Yeah.
We gained 1 though.
Love lax. Love me some lax.
I don't know. It's just first of all, we kind of talked about it earlier with the DL conversation. The Stanley Cup Finals have just proven that hockey players are far more tougher than any other sport out there at all.
Absolutely.
Ovechkin took a fucking puck to the face when he was sitting on the bench, took his head, pulled it to the other side, shook his head, checked his teeth, and was fine to go.
You started missing half of them.
No, he's not.
Could be. They could be dentures.
I guess, Kyle.
See? I'm
Why
not
would
wrong.
he play with dentures in, Kyle?
Yeah. But it just proves, a hockey puck is way harder than a baseball. Yep. It's got sharp edges.
I
and
don't
it
think
travels, like 70 miles an hour at all times.
I don't think there's any athletes that play with more passion than hockey players.
No, there's not.
There just is. I don't think so.
Golf.
No.
What as like a
Soccer.
whole? I mean, as a whole.
Soccer. They're probably tied. But because it's for the
more
same
of a
reason.
global.
It's because soccer and hockey are global sports.
Yeah, but soccer players also like look at each other and then fall over.
Yeah, but you can't kick a soccer ball without falling over.
That's not true.
And they
I can't kick it the way they kick it, but I can kick one.
You can't dribble one.
Maybe. I'm not getting around anybody, but I can do it.
I mean, you got to keep in mind, like, they play a sport, soccer players. I mean, we're not going to get into a soccer debate here, but they play a sport where they're not even allowed to use 2 of their 4 appendages.
Arsenal.
I'm not saying the sport is easy, but like when you watch like
Keep that to Kendall, please.
like the
Love Arsenal.
the soccer player like
Oh, yeah,
flops,
no, it's-
that's what I mean. It's just they're very good actors also.
It's like the NBA.
My favorite is when the guy gets carried off in the little stretcher holding his knee, and then he comes back in like 7 minutes.
Yeah, but he screws his team over when that happens.
I'll tell you what. I like the private stock.
Because when that happens in soccer, like, so the way it works is like they when you get carried off, So like if you're cleared to go back in the game, you can't go in until the next dead ball. So you just have to sit on the sidelines while your team plays with a man down for the entire time until the next dead ball. So it's like you have to they don't no one's doing that unless you're actually got some pain going on, but you're not like a serious knot and they're gonna work it out real quick or something like that because your team's playing a man down now.
Did you ever watch the videos where the guys keep dropping the stretcher?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, those are just the best. There was one
Until you're
the,
on the stretcher.
The guy kind of was bent over to pick it up. He lifts the guy's face right into his grundle,
Souls.
3 times.
But I don't know. The Stanley Cup it's very intriguing. It's very exciting.
It's been entertaining.
It's way better than the NBA Finals will ever be.
It's not the Stanley Cup we asked for.
It's the Stanley Cup we deserve.
That's right.
Nice.
We've had 4 different Stanley Cup matchups in the past 4 years, and we have seen the same 2 teams in the NBA Finals the past 4 years. And I'm not going to buy into this bullshit of what Draymond or Klay Thompson. The rest of the league's got to get better. Blah, blah. The league's there. The league is there 100%. I'm sorry. I'll argue with any basketball fan if Boston had one of their 2 stars able to play, someone that's got veteran experience, Celtics are going to the finals, not the Cavs. And if Chris Paul plays games 6 and 7, the Rockets are beating the Warriors.
Yep.
They just got hit by the injury bug.
It's just shitty circumstance. And the Warriors are one of those teams that they have elite athletes, and all it takes is one tiny little thing, and they'll jump right on it. And then the Cavs have the best player in the world.
See, the thing with the Warriors too.
But go ahead.
The way I see it, I'm sorry. The way I see it is they have, Durant came in, took less money to stay there. Klay Thompson's already talking about taking less money to stay. They have these guys that are willing to not take the monster deals to stay together, where in sports in general that typically doesn't happen.
But, okay. I don't know. What was the point? I'm sorry.
Because the Warriors are on this dominating run because their guys are willing to take less money to stay together.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still not the best team all the time. I mean, the Rockets would have if Chris Paul was able to play Game 6 and 7, the Rockets would be in the finals. End of story. Chris Paul was able to do whatever he wanted around Steph Curry. Made Steph Curry look like a garbage defender,
just like Kyrie did.
And exactly, he's able to do whatever he wants. And when you and he was able to play better defense. I mean, Steph Curry was still hitting his threes and driving the lane or whatever, but Chris Paul was able to get steals. He was able to cause bad passes that resulted in other turnovers because that's what he does. Then you got to put in, I don't even know who the backup point guard is for the Rockets, but they have to go out. Yeah, exactly. Nobody was able to chime in on
They
that.
kind of used Eric Gordon.
But it's
I couldn't name a third player on the Rockets, guys.
Now imagine the Rockets still had the one guy they were missing. Pat Beverly.
If they had Pat Beverly, it would have been over.
That rat.
But it's just, but it is what it is. But it's people, the league just needs to get better. They're the 2 best teams, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. Look at the NHL. You're going to look at the Predators and look at the Penguins. They're the 2 best teams in their fucking conferences by far. Yeah, the Penguins have been to 2 Stanley Cups in the past 4 years, but
Sid's a bitch.
But they've been beat. In the past 4 years, they were the best team for probably in the East, probably the last 4 years, and they only made 2 of the 4. Yeah, they won them. The Predators have been the best team in the West for the past 3 years. They haven't won one. I mean, some of it can be attested to that. Yes, hockey does have a lot more lucky or unlucky plays that happen, but at the same time, there's also, I mean, I've seen playoff hockey games that the players have played for 13 continuous minutes without a dead puck. In basketball, you're lucky if you get 45 seconds without a stoppage now.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know what you guys got going on over here.
They're having a stare down.
Jeff trying to get me mad.
Yes.
I know Sid's a bitch. I just like him.
All right,
You like bitches. That's fine. So does
He's
J.R.
really good. That's all that matters.
And
I
it's
know.
just,
I can't.
it's really,
argue.
it's awesome to see the Caps doing their thing.
About time.
They finally were able to get there, and
About time.
I don't give a shit what any NHL fan says. Win or lose the Stanley Cup Finals, you can't call them choke artists this year. It just doesn't work.
They took a big step.
Yeah, they went from being eliminated in the first round to first and second round to fucking making it all the way to the Stanley, holding a lead in the Stanley Cup. Although they're They're that team that's really bad at holding leads. They're way better. They're way better at like 4 minutes left in the game, down 3-2, than they are with like
Up 6.
1 second left, up 6 because they'll blow it.
If they end up winning, DC is gonna go crazy.
Yeah, about time they got.
It is gonna be
If
nuts.
they win the Stanley Cup, I think Mia Khalifa does porn again.
Yeah. Good. We need to see her.
Yeah, there's not enough content out there.
Go
Soul-
Capitals!
Soul stamp of
Didn't she
approval.
come on our podcast?
I'll tell you what. Let me just
Do you
go
see
on
what I
my-
did there?
Yeah, semen.
7.
Kyle, go eat some Grenbens.
All right.
I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking of the private stock. We should start doing a
Foods.
healthy
foods.
No, like we should get like pint bottles, right? And like we should just put different foods in at the end of the show, and then let it fester for the week, and then do the shots of it. Like we'll throw some green beans.
This took a turn.
We'll throw some green beans and
Grenbens?
and Grenbens and vodka for a week. Then like the next week we can do like
Ches and wine.
No,
no,
too
we're not
classy.
we're also not putting. I'm not going to put cheese in something and then let it
What's
Ches.
Thank you.
All right. But like, think about it. Like maybe we take some vodka and we drink half of it and then fill the other half with Reese's Passes. Let it sit for a week and then take shots.
3 Musketeer bars?
Oh my God, Kyle!
Kyle.
that was a stretch.
That was a
Go
shot.
ahead.
No, I do what I want. I live here.
You know, I'm gonna take one for that great.
But the thing, like,
comeback.
I don't know. It's just it's exciting. There's a lot. I mean,
Let me hit it off first.
you know, fucking what's his face? Holtby was, you know, just the fucking save of forever.
So I remember you telling me about that, but then I saw last night he had like a real poor mistake or something.
Yeah, it happens.
He just kind of like left a puck out in front and just left.
Yeah,
it
but he
there.
also made the save of the
He
year.
did. He did. You're right.
He made one of the most incredible saves I've ever seen in fucking hockey ever. To be able to fucking switch directions and then get the paddle of your stick on something, it's absurd.
It would have been funny if he hit it all the way to the other goal and scored.
Well, then Marc-Andre Fleury would have been the worst goaltender.
Oh, here it comes.
Because that puck would have been traveling maybe
not, like,
10
going
miles
no
an
more.
hour.
Just looking at it here. Oh, 5-hole.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Vegas Knights need to bring Marc-Andre Fleury to DC. Give Marc-Andre Fleury some. That's the greatest thing that's happened in the NHL. Fucking, there's a dog. They named him Marc-Andre Fleury. They made him goalie pads and everything. He's got a jersey. It's great. Hockey's awesome. I mean, you look at like you bring a pocket knife to an NFL game and you get thrown out and banned for life. But you can throw a fucking 45-pound catfish onto the hockey rink, and they're like, "That was kind of cool. You're doing this every game."
Yeah. Bring the fish.
Hockey's just so much more exciting.
I see
Just
Jeff
go
going
out
to the bullpen.
bullpen. We're gonna bring in the lefty, the Natagasaret.
Kyle Kuhn. Now, is that one of the Natagaserets that Kendall and I brought to your house like 6 months ago?
I don't know.
Because that's a pretty. I don't think they make those cans. I think they stopped doing those
You
cans.
guys brought them, and my dad. What did he say one time? He brought over the cans and said, "Like, did you know Narragansett made a lager?"
That's funny.
Love that man.
I saw your dad at the Redemption Center.
He said
There you
that.
go. It's funny. I was gonna shake his hand. My hand was kind of dirty. His was kind of dirty. We both look. He goes, "Eh."
Just mash this
Smash
sticky
it.
hand together.
I wish he said like, "Oh, you were turning those dirty water bottles."
You know what he said? He said, "You boys have been busy." I said, "Yes, sir, we have."
Working hard.
All right. Well, it's time to go into break. We'll be back next hour with Riddler's rankings.
I thought you were doing Riddler's rant this week.
Yeah, I decided to do Riddler's rankings.
All right.
So who's got a topic?
Sid's a bitch.
Jeff does.
Jeff's got the
I
topic.
don't have a topic.
We'll announce it when we come back, and
have a
you'll get
topic.
Riddler's rankings. We will also be talking about greatest bus in MLB history. Welcome back to Getting Sports with Drunk. I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler, and I'm joined by...
Jerks.
We're all still here.
I'm not.
What?
I'm not here.
Souls, you're here. Come on. We all know it.
You can't see me.
All right, that's true.
We're here on Facebook Live, so head on over. Look at Paul's new Dwight Schrute shirt. Big
Got
fan.
Assistant to the regional manager.
We got Peter Pino. He says he's tanning naked in the booth. So big shout out to him.
Nice.
Souls is also naked, as you can see in the video.
In the studio, in Peter's chair.
That's not souls.
So here we have Riddler's rankings.
Is that the intro?
Yes. What
Oh,
do you got
nice.
for us, Paul?
Well, the topic J-Mart came up with. J-Mart, what's the topic?
Modern era, we'll narrow that down to best defensive centers in the NBA.
All right, so I'd like to start with some honorable mentions. So the way I approached this was like I included players that played before 2000, but I kind of based it off of like the productivity from 2000 on. So like obviously like like players like I'm gonna say someone that's not on the list, but like I'm gonna say Michael Jordan, like Kobe Bryant for example. Like he played in the 90s, but I would have only looked at what he did from 2000 on. Okay, so I'd like to start with some honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Marcus Camby, Tyson Chandler, and I know I'll get a cringe out of Jeff on this one, but Yao Ming. Even though he was very very big, just a big guy, but at the end of the day, it causes defensive problems for all kinds of people.
That guy was huge.
Yeah,
I remember him in
Huge
NBA
bitch.
Street.
Nate Robinson blocked this bitch ass.
I remember Yao Ming in NBA Street.
NBA Street V3, the best team that you could possibly use was Baron Davis, Tyson Chandler, and Yao Ming. You couldn't shoot the three, but you were just unstoppable if you decided to drive. And game breakers were really funny because Yao Ming would be like a centimeter off the ground, but he'd be putting it between his legs. All right, so at number 5, I've got Alonzo Mourning. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, averaged 2.8 blocks per game over his career and 8.5 rebounds. He made number 5 because he, a lot like some other players on my list, did play a good portion of his career in the 90s, where he did have a lot of defensive prowess then. In the 2000s, he was only defensively dominant until right about the time the Heat won the championship. I think he played like 2 more years after that. But he still was always just a defensive guy. And he was very, very limber and quick for somebody as big as he was. He was very thin.
Played for some fun teams.
Yeah.
That's right.
Charlotte played for Miami, obviously. I think he played for the Nets too, didn't he? No, I think that was Marcus Camby that played for the Nets. I don't know. Anyway, so moving on, number 4. Even though this person did almost all their humongous defensive dominating resume builders in the 90s, he's got to make the list, and it's Dikembe Mutombo at number 4.
no.
He would have been higher, but if we're doing just from 2000s on, he did win a Defensive Player of the Year in 2001. At the end of the day, I think he's like 4th all time in like rebounds or something like that. He's 2nd in blocks. He averaged almost 3 blocks a game, just over 10 rebounds, 4-time in first career, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3 times block leader. Guy's just insane.
Terrible offensive player though.
He averaged. I think he averaged. Yeah, he was 0.2 shy away from a double-double for his career.
Just had brick hands.
But he shot 52% from the floor for a career.
Jeez, when he could just dunk all the time.
Okay. Number 3. Big Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace meme, number 3, question mark?
I know. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, played exclusively pretty much in the 2000s, didn't really do anything productive after 2010. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2 blocks a game, 9.6 rebounds per game. The guy was just a dominant presence. Teams stopped driving the lane because he was down there. Also, offensively, just inept. Also played for some fun teams.
That
But-
04 Pistons squad.
Yeah, but I'll say he's a championship winner. And part of the reason I put him at 3rd was very, very slim reason. So I don't want to get hung up on this, but his defense was very good, but I don't think it was... His defensive ability was detrimental to him playing for the Pistons. The Pistons didn't need him because they still made it to 2 Eastern Conference championships without him. But he didn't really do much after he left. I think that he was one of those players he really, really fit the Pistons. But he'll always be one of the best defensive centers of all time.
Great
Number 2,
afro.
Dwight Howard. I think Dwight Howard gets a bad rap, I feel like, a lot because of his emotional antics on the court, just being a big baby. And I think, when he has really bad offensive outshows, which I feel like really take away from his defensive prowess because we don't often see a big man that's so offensively and defensively talented as Dwight Howard can be. But, I mean, so far in his career, he's averaging 2 blocks a game and 8.8 rebounds per game. He's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time rebound leader, 2-time block leader. I mean, the guy he's an animal down low. He's so good defensively. I do agree with, I think, what almost everybody would say, obviously much better as a Magic defender than he was as a Laker or a Rocket or a Hornet. But
30-30 game, though.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the game after the Sixers game we went to. And then the game after that, Kemba dropped like 50.
So luckily we didn't get both of them.
Could you imagine Kyle's face if we went there, Kemba dropped 50, Dwight had 30-30, Ben Simmons tore his ACL.
Wow.
Not
That
rookie
hit
of the
home.
year.
That hit home.
We've seen Kyle cry for 4 hours the
And
whole
then,
way
I
home.
mean, I don't really think there's much of a surprise at number 1,
The real Superman?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's one of those players that Shaq played for 20 seasons.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was drafted in 92 and he retired in 2011.
Wow.
Played-
I didn't realize that.
He played 20 seasons in the NBA.
And towards the end of his career, played for a lot of teams.
That's right.
But he also, but for the most part, he played almost like 20 full seasons. He was never like, at the end of his career, he wasn't one of those guys that was like only playing 14 games for like, a team. I think he got hurt when he was a Magic. I think like his 3rd season, he played like 50 games. But he played like, for the most part, almost all the games. But he averaged 2.5, no, that's wrong guy. He averaged just over 2 blocks a game, 11 boards per game in 20 seasons. He's won Defensive Player of the Year. He's been rebounding leader. He's been block leader. He's deceptive because he's physically bigger than all of these guys that we put on the list. He's not taller than Yao Ming, but just he's a husky individual. He's always been bigger, but he's so freaking quick for somebody that big.
Oh, yeah. His footwork was...
His footwork's amazing. What he could do offensively is mind-boggling, but defensively was just as good. And he's the most dominant big man we've ever seen.
I think my favorite thing about Shaq was when he was in that what was it? One of the Scary Movie spoofs.
Oh, Scary Movie 4, him and
With
Dr.
Phil.
Yeah.
All you got to do is make this free throw.
And he hits Phil in the head with a brick. But that's my list. There's the rankings. Riddler's rankings. Any discrepancies from the 2 NBA fanatics here?
You got a lot of applause from Kyle. I mean,
J-Mart? Any disgruntledness?
I want to put Gobert on there, but I can't really find anyone to take off that list, so no.
I think Gobert could be on that list.
He will be.
in
But
some years,
yeah.
but
couldn't help but notice though Omar Asik wasn't on there.
There's a good reason for that.
No,
You can take that.
He's being
sir.
black-
there were
Blackballed.
some other people though that had some considerations. Brad Miller, Al Horford.
Go to Tot.
No, but you know who honestly it creeped into my mind. The only reason he didn't make was just because his stats weren't as impressive. You know who creeped in my mind immediately though? Zadruno Gauskas. He's
Big
very
Z.
underrated. Big Z was a very good defender.
You know who wasn't? The guy that he just said.
I didn't hear what he said.
Remember Okor?
Yeah,
That guy can only shoot the 3, and that was it.
he was the one that played with AK-47,
Was he
right?
safe?
Yeah.
He was part of a fun squad. No.
Oh, that
don't get me
Jazz
wrong.
team was awesome.
Yeah, Darren Williams.
AK-47, Darren Williams.
Oh, you also got Big Al Jefferson. I'll take that.
That was it.
I'll take that.
So
Neem,
for you
right?
guys,
Oh, Peter
Al-
says Rebecca Lobo.
he could take a shot too.
Yeah, just splash it on the camera.
Listen, Al Jefferson, fantastic offensive center. That guy is horrendous on defense. It's like me playing defense. Oh, let's go for block. Just take the layup.
Now, it's funny because it really hurt me because Tyson Chandler's always been one of my favorite players, and I would have loved to include him in this, but he just doesn't have the stats to back it up. But Tyson Chandler is probably one of the most clutch big men there's ever
And also
been.
the reason why the Mavericks won that series.
Yeah.
Big
Joakim.
reason why.
Joakim.
In the beginning of his career.
Shut up.
Before he got hurt.
Before he went to the Knicks.
Shut up.
No, before he got hurt because he was bad in his last stint with the Bulls. But yeah, there you go. Riddler's rankings.
Then he went to the Knicks and had a fun time.
I'm liking the Riddler's rankings.
You know, it's funny. Whenever like a new person, like I talked to some kid at work, and he asked what team I like because we were talking about the finals, and I was like a Knicks, and he just said "God bless" and walked away.
Kendall, I think
It's
you're
kind
up,
of the universal reaction I get.
Kendall, I think you're up for Riddler's rankings next week.
Next week?
I
All
think,
right.
I think you're the only one who hasn't picked one.
I think you're right. So we'll have a good one.
So I think Mock did the initial one, and then
I did the second one.
Souls did the
I did
initial
the
one.
first
Yeah. Rebecca's done one. Wait, have I done this 4 weeks now?
Yeah.
Rebecca also still needs to get a shot of the private stack.
This is true.
Come on, drink some frog water, Rebecca.
All right, hold on, let's pot
Some
you
of
up.
that GSWD frog juice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca is live in your neighborhood.
And here goes the mic stand.
Oh my
The
God!
mic stand is fine.
All right, I'll get you guys.
All right.
It
So
smells like apple.
so while Rebecca's doing this, Stoshball would make a great
I
court
saw
cleaner.
that too.
You know the guy with the mop in between timeouts. He'd fall on his face though, Peter. You know it. That's why it'd be great. That's why you're saying that. Plus, you also just want to see him get teabagged by people 3 times his size.
Oh, yeah.
So who had one of my mountain animals?
That's not bad.
I put one in the fridge for me.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to fight about it?
No, I was just wondering.
Big whoop. Want to fight about it? All right. Rebecca said it was delicious, and she can't wait to have more.
I see your keys.
I think you still have them.
I do.
So yes, you can seize keys.
Frog water.
Frog water. What, guaranteed to give you warts on your tongue.
Man.
So anyway, yeah.
Wait, Kwame Brown.
Well, here you go.
Well, you
bud.
gotta do yours first. You gotta do yours first. Do
It's
an order.
fine, but he gets stew for that one.
Oh,
What am I supposed to do? Pass it to Kwame Brown?
Roy Hibbert.
He was actually pretty good defensively.
I know.
Biggest bus in MLB history.
So I'll take the lead off on this one.
No.
Yeah, too late. I'm gonna go with Brian Bullington
Oh, fuck off.
from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
No one even knows who he was.
Exactly.
So he's not.
He was drafted first overall. In his he played 5 seasons, 1-9 with a 5.24 ERA.
He got.
He only
10
pitched 10 games in 5 years.
Well, it's
Yeah.
10 decisions.
Oh yeah.
Well, he just sucked. Jeff knows.
See, I think that baseball should change the stat line because it wouldn't screw with anybody. Like like their stats. Like I'm not saying change anything that determines the stats, but they should treat it kind of like hockey standings. So like if you go out there and you pitch 40 games in a season, I don't know if that's a lot. I'm not really that great with baseball.
Way
That's a
above
lot.
the average.
Okay, so let's say you pitch 30 games in a season.
Better. All right.
Okay.
Starter, yeah.
So let's say you get 12 wins and 8 losses, 10 no decisions. Your thing should be 12, 8, and 10. Just so people know how many kids. It's like, oh, he went 12 and 4. Yeah, but he pitched like 32. Okay, so that means no decisions. And it's like, just make it like the hockey things, like wins, losses, and ties, or overtime losses, whatever. I think that would be good.
I got no problem with that.
I got a problem.
Shout out to
with-
Brandon Vesey
with
for listening.
Brian Bullington. I don't know how he even made the majors because he walked everything. Everything that stepped in the play. Mike Trout, Giancarlo, all these guys, they couldn't give him enough run support. It's fucking bullshit.
All right, you could cut that out.
Mock, do you have one?
Live radio, yeah, just cut that out.
I don't. I was actually. I'm sorry. I do. We were talking, and for some reason, like I couldn't think of any Yankees ones. For some reason, nothing like popped into my head. But I came up with
Derek Jeter.
No. I came up with a few Red Sox ones. I remember Will Middlebrooks was supposed to be really good.
Yeah, that's fair.
He had a good rookie year.
He was actually he's in the Phillies farm system now.
Which is like
Yeah.
a slap in the face
On
to
the
any ball
on the
player.
Double A team, he's really bad in the show. Strikes out a lot.
He's out for the year.
But I remember like Rusney Castillo had so much hype
Oh, yeah.
coming in,
Batted 212.
and then like Dice K had one good season. Done.
He was a Met.
Yeah, the Mets have a lot of pitchers, relief pitchers, especially to come up. One that comes to mind immediately is Ryoto Igarashi. Now, here's a guy who came with a lot of hype, and this is in the late 2000s where the Mets were just dreadful. And hey, he's a guy who's gonna strengthen the bullpen. He's gonna be the guy to eat up 2 innings, and yeah, that's what he did. He hit the bottom of the keyboard on radio.
I was gonna say, what was that?
Another Met, Kaz Matsui.
Hey,
Garshi
Hey.
played for Pittsburgh as well. And
he did.
just as bad.
Yeah. And don't you say anything bad about Kaz Matsui. You know why? Because I have stuff to say about Kaz Matsui.
Go ahead.
He is the worst player the Mets have ever had. I hate him. Hate
Even
him.
more than Jason Bay?
No, Jason Bay was just the wrong place, wrong time, wrong person.
But you got his bobblehead.
I did. I got him on Jason Bay Bobblehead Day. Sponsored by...
Well, yeah. I mean, if you got Jason Bay bobblehead on fucking Jose Reyes bobblehead day,
Well,
shot.
Sorry,
Imagine-
we were out.
sponsored.
Imagine getting rid of Jason Bay and Jose Bautista.
Sponsored
same
by
time.
Golden's Mustard. And Jason Bay didn't play on Jason Bay Monday. So now he sits on the floor of my bedroom.
Is he still in the league?
No, I don't think
God,
so.
no. He's been gone for a while.
Really? He was really good with Boston.
He
Yep.
killed it with us, and then, like Neil Huntington likes to do, someone's successful, get him out. We're not paying him.
One for the White Sox is Gordon Beckham. Never lived up to the hype he was supposed to.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put him in the classifications of biggest buzz.
No, but he's a
There's
bust.
much bigger busts, like Dominic Brown of the Phillies.
He had a great half of a year.
He had a good month.
Had 25.
Where is he now? How old is he?
Probably 28.
And where
I'm
is
not arguing
exactly,
with you.
so shut up!
All right, Mister. All my favorite Pirates are bust.
What
They
about
all
Lasting's
suck.
Millage?
Whoa. That guy's a legend.
That guy hit third.
And I'll
for
tell you
us.
what. We were discussing, Souls and I, we want to get a shirt. It doesn't matter what sport, though. A player who's played for all our teams. I think we just get made up Lasting's Millage, Yankees, White Sox. Just
No way.
He was a
Louis
White Sox.
Soho.
No way.
Louis Soho.
No.
so.
Thad Young.
Thad Young. That's the next big upcoming guy, Thad Young. Actually, you know him personally.
I do. We made a guy, or Jeff and I made a guy last night in the show. His name's Thad Young. He's a 6'1", 270-pound third baseman from North Dakota. He's got a Bob Ross afro with mutton chops and a mustache to match. He wears completely blacked out tinted aviators with gold frames in the game and eye black. He wears the stance socks,
Oh, yeah.
all gold cleats and a gold glove.
He sends it like, okay, I'm going to knock this one right out of the park right here. Okay, really nice fluid swing.
Well, it's funny because I was commentating like what he would be saying like during the at bats or whatever, and it got to like a 3-2 count, and I was just like, "Thad Young doesn't take walks. Don't care where this is. We're swinging."
Took the walk.
Took the walk after too. Thad Young is the guy's just like there was we made the joke a ball boy out in right field made like a really good catch on like a ball hit into foul territory or whatever, and like, Thad Young called timeout in the game to go over and shake his hand, tell him good job. He's all about the troops. He's got pine tar everywhere.
Ryan Roberts is listening. Thank you for tuning in. I won't do the hey, I can't do it nearly as
Come
good as
on,
you
just
can.
do it.
I can't.
Do it.
I'm going to be embarrassing.
Do
It'll be
it for
embarrassing.
Ryan.
I'll do it for Ryan. Hey. See? No good. I knew as soon as I said it.
What do you think of Chuck Knobloch?
All right, Souls. We're on a groove here.
Maybe.
As a second baseman, yeah. I mean, he had a. How long did he play?
I'll be on it.
Here's the thing about Chuck. I was really young when he played, so I don't know.
It was in the Scott Brocious era.
Yeah, I liked Scott Brocious a lot.
Tino,
Paul
Bernie.
O'Neill, Bernie, Posada.
He got fat.
Well, that wasn't left. Shane.
Chuck Knobloch got arrested
Spencer.
not too long ago.
Spencer.
Kyle.
Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw the
you know,
ball.
You know who I just thought of that was a Yankees one? Shelley Duncan.
Oh yeah.
He came up. I remember the first season. He was
supposed
a
to be a
phenom,
monster.
and then he just disappeared instantly. It was kind of insane how fast he fell, just off the grid.
He wasn't a bust hitter.
Becca, I want your opinion here. What about Marcus Giles? Second baseman Marcus Giles.
What
He was
about
alright.
what about Paul Wilson?
Mark Pryor, pitcher, Cubs.
What about Paul Wilson?
Paul Wilson.
He's a pitcher for the Mets. He was drafted #1 overall. You know who was drafted after him?
Who?
Paul Konerko, and then
Really?
Jason Varitek.
I can even remember Paul Wilson. I can't.
I won't
Well,
say
he sounds
Pryor's
like a guy who's a bust.
Who?
I'm not gonna say Pryor's a bust.
Oh, really? Why not?
He was dominant.
For how long?
The thing is,
About 4 or 5.
we can encompass this to all sports because we all know busts. But like, one person a lot of people will put on lists of like greatest sports busts of all times, and it really pisses me off. Sean Livingston.
That's bullshit.
Sean Livingston was killing it for the Clippers. Then he had one of the most gruesome injuries we've ever seen in basketball.
And that's why I really can't
And then,
say
and then he goes on.
Pryor
Then he
is-
goes on to win championships with the Warriors, and he's playing as a very serviceable backup. I mean, he's not going to be the starter, and Sean Livingston probably could be a starter on a team.
I used to have his jersey
And
as
you
a
threw
Clipper.
it away because you thought he was a bust.
No, I
You
threw it
know-
away because it didn't fit no more.
You know, Kyle also has a jersey of a Steelers great Cam Hayward that I bought it for Christmas.
See what
I
you
went,
started?
I went store to store to store
He
in the
did not.
greater New Haven
He went to
County
Modell's
area.
and found
the
it.
greater New Haven County.
so I did go to
Food
Modell's.
Tri-state area.
and I did buy the jersey. And
Okay.
you know where it is? It's probably in a landfill somewhere. That's how much he cares about it.
No,
Jordan Pacheco.
Somebody's currently wearing it at Gravel Street.
Probably. It's a pillowcase.
Colin Cowgill.
So now, if we go beyond baseball,
Well, I can.
Everyone
is that
the
what you-
Knicks.
Oh,
is that where you were going, Paul?
Well, I said we could go beyond baseball. We could name some other players from other sports too. But so, like for example, I'll lead it off. Every rookie that was drafted by the 76ers in between Andre Iguodala and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who really sucked? Rodney Carey. You guys know who that is?
Yep.
Rodney Carney, I'm sorry.
Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah, Rodney Carney, the worst first-round pick
Yeah,
I've
we
ever
just
seen.
talked about
Yeah.
Okafor and who he got drafted in front of. Devin Booker and Kristaps Porzingis. Ouch.
Well, here's the thing. You guys were not happy about Porzingis when he was drafted.
Oh, no.
What's this, you guys?
I'll be the first to admit.
What's the you guys thing? I could care less.
Paul is a Bulls
Okafor-
fan.
I,
was
I meant,
furious
I
at
meant
that.
Jeff and other Knicks fans.
Okafor was supposed to be better than Embiid
Yeah.
coming out of the draft. He was supposed to be the best center.
They
And-
said he's not that. All right. I feel like he would fit back in the day. He doesn't fit in today's basketball.
That's the same reason Hernan Gomez got the out in New York, because he's an old school center, and for whatever reason,
He doesn't have the jump shot that other centers have.
well, Willie hit a three when we were there.
These centers could learn something about old school centers because when we did Riddler's rankings, you notice that
None of them were on it.
no modern like past 8 years centers were on this list. I mean, Dwight Howard's active, but he was drafted in 2004.
No, I know. What about Mecca Okafor?
What about Miles Turner?
Emeka Okafor would be an honorable
UConn
mention, but he
great.
wasn't big enough.
No, I'm talking about you don't think he's a bust or
Emeka
No.
Okafor, no.
No.
because
No.
he hasn't really been the superstar he was
no.
supposed to.
He wasn't.
I don't think he was supposed to be a superstar.
He wasn't. We were just Connecticut dick riders.
You were Connecticut Dick Riders. He was also he was one of the players that he didn't get drafted after a second year. He played 4 years in college.
Got a good UConn bust. Assumed to be.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, come on now.
Also,
See-
Josh Boone.
Anyone that comes,
Although he wasn't really a bust, he just sucked. Charlie Villanueva, kind of.
when
was
guys
okay.
come out of UConn, everyone gets all hyped because
Yeah.
we're from Connecticut, but
Ben Gordon was
it
good
doesn't make them like
for the first
great.
7 years. Then he fell off.
Yeah, Connecticut.
Yeah, Ben Gordon was good until he left the Bulls.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's still. I think he's the all-time Bulls leader in three-pointers made.
AJ
Pretty sure.
Price.
I see Jeff wants to call Markelle Fultz a bust already.
It's
He's,
too early.
he's just
I
looking
do.
at him.
I do,
It's
but
too early.
we'll find out.
You know who's a bust for NFL though? Vernon Golson.
Vince Young.
Vernon Golson.
Jamarcus
Didn't
Russell.
record a sack.
That's a very forgettable name.
The only thing that Jamarcus Russell is a bust of is the button in his pants.
Yeah.
Bring it over.
Oh my!
Football, I
Guy's
think.
so fat.
Football seems like just easier, at least for me to think back on bust, just because,
Oh yeah.
especially the first rounders are so hyped up.
Kevin
Big
White.
time. I mean, think of
Well,
like,
Kevin White, the injury thing.
Think of Eric Flowers.
Yep.
remember Matt Leinart, coming out of the big game versus Vince Young and all that. I think everybody in the world watched that Rose Bowl game. Comes the NFL, garbage.
Ryan Leaf.
You know the funny part is I saw this show on NFL Network because I'm a slave to that channel, and they met against once in the NFL. I don't know if it was 2 years later, and
Yeah.
Vince Young did it again. Drove 98 yards down the field and scored and beat him.
You know what's a good name? Maurice Clarett.
Where's Correct?
Yeah, cool. Who was he?
He was a running back for Ohio State. Supposed to be this phenom of a running back. Kept getting arrested. Got drafted by the Broncos in the 3rd round. Supposed to be once in a lifetime.
So
Talent.
Josh Gordon.
Just worse. You know who Maurice Clarett is?
Yeah, I don't remember him being a Bronco though.
He got drafted by the Broncos.
Greg
Did he?
Hardy.
Not a bust. He was really
Really?
good with Carolina.
Now he's an MMA fighter
Yeah.
and a recovering addict.
Of being a douche.
Yep, he was addicted to being a douche.
I mean, that's the obvious ones, like Ryan Leaf. We all know that story, you know. Could you imagine if he went before Peyton Manning? I think that would only worsen the notorious person that he is now.
Might have changed, man. Could have been good for Indianapolis.
Maybe, but probably not.
Does a lot of self-help
Hey, guys,
seminars
what about
now.
Yeah.
every Browns draft pick in the last 10 years?
Joe Thomas, first rounder.
Yeah.
Except Joe
Joe
Thomas. All right.
Josh
all
Gordon.
right.
All right.
I wouldn't
Josh
call
Gordon.
Gordon a
I don't
bust.
think he's a bust. They also drafted Joe Hayden.
I would only call him a bust
And
due
TJ
to the
Ward.
fact that he hasn't actually done what he was supposed to do.
Who?
Which Gort.
Yeah, but he's also been injured by cannabis.
Exactly.
Do you guys know who Charles Rogers is?
Yeah.
Lions receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time bust.
But you have his jersey.
Nope. Wanted it.
It's actually framed.
Hayden's overrated.
You know, I
Kyle's
was
like,
looking at
"Fuck
a.
you."
He was fantastic as a Brown.
He wasn't fantastic.
Yes, he was.
He was on the field for 90% of every game he played. That's why he might have had good stats. Because the Browns couldn't fucking have an offensive drive
He
last
was
more than
considered
a
one of
minute.
the top cornerbacks.
He also had a steroid bust.
I mean, back in like 2008, I think it was.
Kyle likes that though, Joe.
The
Sure.
Blackhawks selected a guy named Kyle Beach. He was like a really promising top prospect power forward guy,
Was
and
he,
he's the only player the Blackhawks have picked in like the last 40 years that never played an NHL
was he
game.
balding with red hair?
What?
Was he balding with red hair?
No. Fuck. Why?
He said
There he
Beach.
is.
Last name was Beach.
Walrath.
Shout out Wally Beach.
Kettle's not balding though. He's just turning gray.
It's true.
Joey Harrington.
What's the gray pube situation? That's going well too.
Very well. Thank
Good.
you.
Excellent. Silver fox up top, silver snake down low.
But I was looking at an NFL bus list the other day. Do you guys remember David Wilson? That was on the Giants.
Yes.
He was drafted. I forget what round and whatnot, but he had like a great like rookie season. Everything was looking up, and then he came in and like broke his neck and wasn't able to play anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And they were calling him a bust, and I don't think he should be.
No, that's
Just
not
'cause, like,
right.
he
Like
was
a
looking
career
great.
ender.
Yeah, and now I think he was at the Olympic trials or something for running. Like he was trying to be like an Olympian now, but I don't like when you can call someone a bust because like they got hurt.
No, I hate that.
We'll throw one out there for Shane if he's listening. He's supposed to be here today. How about Rangers? Rangers pick Dylan McIlrath. Guy's played like 40 games in
Yeah.
like 5 seasons. He like
Garbage.
shot from like out of nowhere to like top prospect real quick and then just sucked.
You know, I really had high hopes for him.
I know.
Paul's favorite player, Joey Harrington.
Hey, I like him.
Now it's in college football. With the rest of those hags.
The rest of those hags.
Whoever couldn't hack it in the NFL just goes back right to college football announcing.
Hey, gotta live those glory days, I guess.
There's a lot more teams to call games for there.
Many conferences.
I mean,
and-
Albert Hainsworth.
Oh, yeah.
He was good. He just sucked when he got the big contract.
I don't know. He's just a big guy. I mean,
I hate this.
Casey Hampton. I mean, he's a Steeler. I love him, but
No,
he's just
no,
just
no.
a big guy.
Oh, I thought you were going to call him a bust.
you know, Jeff.
Oh no.
This guy played for the Saints also. Jeremy Shockey?
Wasn't a bust.
No.
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 Asshole, yes.
Asshole, yeah, but he had productive seasons with the Saints. He had productive years with the Giants.
He had that one great season with the
Super Bowl
Giants.
champion.
Also, big rat.
2-time Super Bowl champion.
He technically has 2, but he was hurt for the one with the Giants. That was when Kevin Boss stepped up and
Kevin
took
Ball.
over
And then he went on to Oakland
and
and
did
ended his
nothing.
career.
David Carr.
Not-
I don't want to say he's a bust, but he technically is.
I don't know. He didn't have the hype.
That team was bad.
He got sacked all the time. It wasn't his fault. The offensive line was like me out there. It was a joke.
I'd call Patrick Robinson a bust from the Saints, but he actually had a very good year for the Eagles, and now he's back.
So he's gonna suck again.
Yeah. Now we have a dope
How about-
secondary.
Let's throw one out there. Peyton Hillis.
He made
Yeah.
the Madden cover, man.
Yep, that's right. Guy was on the. So was Vince Young. So he's still a bust.
You know,
So
so
was Eagles Michael Vick.
Oh, I miss him.
we should
He
put
was on
you
a
on the
football
Madden
cover.
cover.
What?
We should put Souls on the Madden
Why,
cover.
so I can get hurt?
Tommy John surgery.
That's
there
right.
you go.
Voluntary.
Break every bone in my foot.
Say
Oh, shout out to
goodbye.
Peter Pino. He just tuned in to Facebook Live.
Ooh.
Just got a notification. That's why I said it. It was a joke, Mark.
Okay.
Let's arm wrestle right now on the air.
I don't want to do that.
I like the slap the mic out of the way for it.
Aaron Brooks?
Like-
Take that back.
Point guard Aaron Brooks?
No. Well, he kind of was too. But
You
quarterback
really
of the
wanna
Saints,
go
Aaron
there?
Brooks. Was he not a bust?
He was amazing.
Listen, he wasn't that bad. The Saints were just that bad during that time that it was kind of all.
But then he went to Oakland
He was fine on Oakland.
and also sucked.
Well, Oakland was also equally bad.
Matt Flynn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
No, Matt Flynn. He holds 2 6-touchdown games. Is that
Does he?
correct? I think he's got 2.
Kyle Orton,
He won a few games.
Tim Tebow, and Johnny Manziel in the chat.
Well, see, I kind of said Manziel just in the every Browns pick, but
Yeah.
Tebow's tough.
Tebow got screwed.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Why don't you just marry him?
That guy earned a shot. I'm not saying he would have been great, but he earned the chance to do it again.
He got Kaepernicked before Kaepernick.
For the complete opposite
Yeah.
reason.
But nobody cares about Tim Tebow.
Hey,
except
just
for
play
you.
the sport. Don't bring your personal shit. That's like you go to work.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
He was a man of Christ, and apparently the NFL's not okay with that.
Who was the quarterback for the Bengals that was a bust?
The what?
Andy Dalton.
Josh Johnson.
AJ McCarron.
Wait, who are we talking about?
It was like in the late 90s.
Okay.
Kendall knows what I'm talking
Boomer
Elena-
Esiason.
No, not Boomer. Ken.
about. Something Smith.
Something Smith.
Yeah.
There's so many Smith, John,
I,
Jacob, Jingleheimer.
I thought it was Ken something. I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
Do you consider Manziel a bust? I didn't hear what you said, Jeff.
Well, how many?
Yeah, I will.
He was a top pick. He was a hyped.
All right. I agree with that.
I do also, but I think he's going to be back in the NFL at some point.
Killing it in the
I think
CFL.
he there's no reason he's not other than himself. And it's just unfortunate. That's,
I think the Browns was the worst system for him.
Akil
to go into.
Smith.
Oh, yeah. I actually forgot about that guy.
Another name? John Kitna.
Hey,
fuck that.
John Kitna was serviceable.
For every bad team in the NFL.
When did
That's
he get
fine.
drafted?
He won a
Hold on,
couple
hold on.
games.
When did he get drafted? Because I really don't know. So that's going to determine to me if he's a bust. If he was a top pick, sure.
You guys
But
listening on Facebook? Sorry, Jeff. Tell us your busts. I thought you were done talking. I'm sorry.
I just want to know about Kitna now. Real bad. Come on, Kyle.
I kept that quiet enough.
Listen, I think John Kitna was serviceable.
That's what I mean. Like, he was a great backup. He started, for the Cowboys for a while?
Cowboys, Lions.
Hey, what was the kicker's name that got drafted in the second round by the Bucks?
Robert Aguayo.
Oh,
that guy.
There was this big thing, like he never missed a kick in college football. His second attempt in the NFL, just boots it to the left.
Blair Walsh.
That guy from the Chargers
All right.
this year sucks.
Oh, the Young Ho Koo. Is that what you're talking about? That's Jeff's favorite kicker of all
He's
time.
amazing.
They're actually in a racquetball club together. Jeff's much better than him.
I tell you, it's got to be tough. Like, imagine being the player where, you're coming in with so much hype around you,
Yeah.
and then you just crap the bed.
Big time.
Just hard.
Well, you think about a guy I thought Vince Young was going to be the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen because he's a big guy, he could run around.
Yeah, he went
Decent arm.
undrafted. It took me the same amount of time, and you got a 20-minute head start.
He also played
So
for-
he's not a bust. He was undrafted.
Let's not
Fuck
go back
out
to
of
why
here.
Tim
No,
Tebow
he played for
just
Barcelona.
wasn't,
Oh,
Tim
fuck
Tebow
off.
was terrible.
He was undrafted, though.
But here's
How's he a bust if he never got drafted?
Because he sucked.
Get out of here.
here's my
Did
argument
suck.
with Tebow.
Get out of here.
I'm not saying he would have went on to be great, but he went 8-1 as a starter. I think he at least earned a chance the next season to see if he can do it. That's always been my argument.
But the thing is he played in enough games where you kind of saw what you were getting from him.
He won games.
He threw for
he won games.
1,800 career passes yards. Got a 50% pick to touchdown ratio. His completion percentage was never higher than 50%.
But we see quarterbacks
Yeah,
hang
so
around
this
that
is
are
not
way
a stab
worse.
at the Bears. It's more so the Bucks. Mike Glennon. There's guys that shouldn't.
Brandon Whedon's still on
Yeah,
on
like-
team. There's quarterbacks that have come that are light years worse than Tebow that hung around. They didn't like that he took a knee when he scored a touchdown.
Well,
Tebow won
kneeling in
games.
the NFL gets you in trouble.
He won games. I think he at least earned the opportunity to try again.
Well, he did with the Jets and Patriots.
They
Now,
never
of
let him play.
Yeah, but obviously he's not going to start over Tom Brady. But Tim Tebow was a better athlete than he is.
He's a better athlete than
he
he's
is
a
a
football
quarterback.
player.
And there's tons of quarterbacks who played college ball, who played in the NFL, who transitioned to different positions.
Yeah.
And
Brad
Tebow was,
Smith.
he
That's
was
what they wanted
unwilling
to do.
that.
That's what the the Jets wanted to do with Tebow. They wanted to convert him to a tight end, but he didn't want to do it. He had the option to play.
He was taking snaps at fullback. with
They
the Jets.
wanted him to play tight end, and he didn't want to do it. So,
And
well, we
Tebow,
don't
I
need
mean-
you. You didn't. They didn't prove it to him in the
Suffer a
offseason.
double
They
A,
didn't prove it to him
Tebow. Suffer.
But even then, who was the quarterback with the Jets that
He lost out to
I don't think Sanchez was there.
in 2011.
it was Sanchez.
2012?
Was it?
Gino.
Sanchez took him to the AFC Championship in 2011.
Back-to-back games. So he wasn't going to start over Sanchez.
He was Sanchez,
Well,
somebody
someone
else in Tebow. I can't remember who the backup was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Some hack.
The other Josh McCown.
Yeah,
Matt Barkley?
Josh McCown Sr.
McCown.
I think we're going to say Derek Carr in like 5 years. Just my thought.
Yeah.
Definitely possible.
I don't think it's going to be all on him because I mean he's just injury prone. That is true though. He does have John Gruden,
Quarterback guru.
Corona expert.
That's right.
Sam Bradford.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think so.
Don't you
You know,
fucking do it.
can I tell you?
Kyle.
Look at
Don't
his
you
face.
fucking do it.
Can I-
Defend
can I say-
him.
I was
The
going to say
Saints ass
Bradford.
every time.
Oh fuck you.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That has nothing to do with the fact that he's not a bust. He's still a bust.
Yeah, we're kind of.
Still
Asshole.
around. Still
He-
playing pretty decent.
He's not.
When he
Decent?
plays decent.
When he plays one game a season.
The first decent.
I'm pissed.
Last year was the first decent year he's had since like his second year as a Ram.
And how many games did he play?
I think he played the
He played the
first.
full season that year when he let the
Not
league
the
in completion.
Rams.
No, when he won the completion percentage.
He
had
his
to
first
play
2
the full
years with
year.
the Rams were decent, and then he got hurt all the time. And then he was playing very well for the Vikings last year until he got hurt.
Which was
'Cause they rushed him
week
back.
3.
The Vikings rushed him back. The Vikings screwed him over. He didn't get. It's not because he's made of glass. He was playing phenomenal last year.
No, he's made
and
of
he was taking
glass.
some pretty mean hits. But he was taking some pretty mean hits or whatever. But
But
they
it's
rushed
every
him back.
year. It's every year.
But I'm saying, right? I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying, but like he wasn't ready to come back. The Vikings kind of rushed him back.
Last
The
year
Vikings, the Vikings should have had him start Game 3. Instead, they wanted him to start the season, and then he got hurt against the Bears.
I'll compromise with you on him.
The Bears are really good at hurting NFC North quarterbacks,
If it
but
wasn't,
still losing that game.
if it wasn't for his salary, I wouldn't say he's a bust. But he's a fucking bust. He's a waste of money. He's almost as badly paid as Jamarcus Russell was.
Well,
You
see,
watch your
that
fucking
was
100%.
that was that era where rookies,
Yep.
for some reason, were able to
But
demand.
he's still getting those,
Yeah.
and it's amazing to me.
What's it?
Never played in the playoffs.
You got to think. Who is it? The Vikings gave a first-round pick to get him from
Yeah.
the Eagles.
It's a joke.
It was just.
Well, I think
Vikings were
that was
desperate.
that was a desperation thing. They needed somebody that
I'll
had
give
some.
you that.
They needed
Bridgewater-
somebody that had experience in throwing the football in the NFL.
No one
It didn't
saw
have to be
Chase
somebody that had
Keenum coming
experience
up.
in winning or getting. They weren't looking for somebody that was going to take them to the Super Bowl.
No,
They just
I
needed
know.
somebody that was going to keep their offense in games while their defense played great.
Because Bridgewater basically almost lost his leg.
Yeah.
Seems to be a trend in the last few years. I'm not liking that.
But I heard he's playing pretty well for the Jets right now.
I've been calling it. He's going to the Saints eventually.
Bridgewater.
In the same type of Drew Brees trade. I hope not, though. I want someone better.
Do you guys remember a guy for Pittsburgh named Limas Swede?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That guy
Stephon
was supposed to
Logan.
be so good. He was like 6'4", fast. His hands were, pieces of chicken. Just couldn't catch the freaking football.
Yep. Here we go.
There we go. Whoop! Through my hands, and that's
Yup.
a pick.
Pieces of chicken.
Dude, and I liked him too, and he let me down.
You just liked his name.
Lee
Limas.
Mays, man. Lee Mays. Another one.
The Steelers have a knack of getting these receivers that just pan out to be absolutely nothing.
Recently, they've been good with it.
Knock on wood here. Can you believe that at one time we had Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Hines Ward, and Derek Moy? Can you believe it?
So his grandparents.
We did. We saw his grandparents.
What?
Yeah.
The first Steelers game I went to was Steelers Bears, and shout out to the Riddler. He drove 17 straight hours essentially. We were walking into the game, and so this guy Derek Moy, who's a receiver, he's a rookie or second year guy, and the NFL shop is not making this guy's jersey, but two people, husband and wife presumably, they were wearing the jersey, so we just assumed it was his parents or grandparents, and we didn't say anything, but we should have because we probably could have got free stuff.
So you're just making an assumption.
Oh, of course. But
okay.
the assumption is, who would have that jersey? He's not a known player.
Penn State fans.
Maybe some diehard Penn Staters, but black screen, we're good. Don't worry, they don't know that. Yeah, so Derek Moy, thanks for helping out with me.
I don't really remember him.
He had one catch.
No, he's got more than one catch. He's got like 5. He's got 1 touchdown, though.
What about
saw it.
Martellus Bennett?
Yeah.
He was all right.
I mean, he started showing productivity, and then he went to the Bears, and he had a decent first year with the Bears, but he never really lived up to the hype. And then he never didn't do anything with Green Bay, didn't really do anything at all with the Patriots.
He was good with the year he was with the Giants. I was really bummed they didn't re-sign him.
Well, he was good for backup tight end purposes, but I mean, he wasn't like starting tight end caliber.
For the Giants, he was.
He was a good blocking tight end for you guys, but he wasn't wasn't a good receiver.
Yeah, he's a bust. What do you say about Reggie Bush?
Matt Leinart. If he didn't win a ring, bust. But he had amazing special teams plays.
He's also injured
And
a lot.
Here's the thing. Injuries plagued him. He's definitely
Kardashian
had
played him. He's the first one to suffer
yeah.
the Kardashian curse.
That is true. Well, no, Ray J. Only like you.
Well, talk about athletes.
I
Come
know.
on, Soul, sing
Because
it.
Reggie Bush was dating Kim before Chris Humphries married her, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so she was the first one.
That's why
That
Ben,
marriage lasted
Ben
like
Simmons
4
is
minutes.
next, dumbass.
Miles Austin
Oh, good one. Good one.
He was good for the Cowboys.
for like a year and a half.
No, he was there good for like 2 or 3, 4 years.
It's
So I
funny
said
to
a
make
year
the
and a half.
argument-
You're going to say 2 years, really, Kyle?
I'd
That argument's
say,
always hilarious.
I'd say
No,
Eric
2.
Ebron, too.
So far, yeah.
Unless he pulls it out of his ass, but he was supposed to be like the fucking best tight end ever.
You know, Chris Jankowski was super bummed the Giants drafted Odell over him during that draft. I'm always sure to say that to him.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's like that.
I
At least
know,
once.
I know.
Porzingis.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like that with Kyle Long. And the Bears drafted Kyle Long.
I don't think anyone in the world was like, "Oh fuck yeah, we got Porzingis."
Well, think about when the Texans drafted Watt.
Latvia was.
Yeah.
Latvia.
Oh,
was all about
Latvia
it.
probably went crazy.
Texan fans were pissed about that.
Much like the Cowboys fans
Well, hold
this
on.
year with Van Der Esch.
I pose a conundrum:
Injuries. No.
is Porzingis a bust?
No.
Injuries, no. I thought you were going to say about J.J. Watt.
You know who's a bust though in the NBA? We already said his name, but Kwame Brown. Probably the biggest bust of all time.
Yeah.
Why would you think Porzingis is a bust?
Do
you think that he
played
is?
a full season? He's going on to his year 22 season. He's consistently hurt.
Yeah, but he's so
He's
productive.
going to be
when
one of
he
those
plays.
guys that
Here's the thing,
next
though.
year is going to be a big thing for him because if he gets hurt again, it's going to be over.
That's
Because
exactly.
somebody of his size,
Yep.
once you start, it just doesn't stop.
He has.
You put so much in basketball. There's so much stress put on your body from all the because in football, yeah, you're pushing up against other guys and stuff like that. But you're like, you break off, you go, you run into someone, and you're pushing them, and you guys are wrestling back and forth for however long, and then you stop. In basketball, you're full sprinting, stopping, jumping, back and forth, clanking knees with people. It's just so herky jerky that and then you add the fact that he's 7'2", 7'3". He's a bigger guy. I mean, it's a lot of momentum to just stop.
And it sucks because, he was at the point last year where he had to take over as the guy.
Yep.
And he was doing phenomenal at it, and then he gets hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying the Knicks were going to do anything last year, but I'm saying they looked good when he was on.
So you're saying they should be in the finals?
Absolutely. Well, to quote Derrick Rose, I mean, they're right up there with Golden State as a super team.
Actually, let's name a player. You can do NFL if you want. You can do whatever. But let's name a player that you think they can have had some success or whatever before we sign off. Name a player that you think is going to turn out to be a bust. Somebody that's already been in the league for a little bit, at least 2 years. We'll call it.
I said NFL.
I know Mox.
NFL?
It can be whatever
Or,
sport.
okay.
I know Mox. Should be Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't think he's going to be a bust. I just don't. I'm not buying the hype yet. I think he's going to be a bust. I think he's just going to remain
Mine
a
is
middle of the road.
Jay Ajayi, without a doubt.
I need a minute more. I'm
Souls,
trying
you
to
got
think of that.
I'm thinking too.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
Yeah. That's what I like to
I
hear.
think that Cam Newton has. I mean, he played really well in the year they went to the Super Bowl, but he's just kind of like. I feel like he's on an inconsistent but declining basis,
Ryan Bullington.
and I think that he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that he's only going to be good if they put people around him. Because it's like with Michael Vick. I mean, eventually he's not going to be able to run like that anymore.
Yeah. I just thought of another name we left off our bust list. RG3.
Oh yeah.
I don't put it on there because we talked about injuries. He was injured all the time.
Yeah.
He was playing lights out his rookie year.
His rookie year.
And then he's just been injured ever since.
That's true.
I'm gonna go MLB. Now this guy has been injured. I'm gonna go Steven Strasburg.
Oh.
I'm gonna say no. Listen, here's a guy that came with such hype.
Here's a guy.
Yeah. Listen to my Collinsworth. I think he's a guy who will kind of slowly just average out, and just kind of be a middle of the road guy. And I don't think he'll ever be. He'll never be the guy that he's predicted to be. And that's gonna be my prediction. Strasburg.
Sure. Still going?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't realize he was still playing. Like, I haven't heard his name in a while. I hear Scherzer.
Well, because they have Scherzer and Harper, that's all you hear from them.
You guys
Here's the
wanna
guy
know
before
Adam.
You guys want to know his career stats?
I know he's really good.
Who, Strasburg?
All right, but we
Yeah,
got to
before-
hurry up. We got to sign off.
90 and 50, 3 ERA even, 1,300 strikeouts, 1.08 WHIP.
A lot
So
of
you're saying
time
that
to
guy's
play.
a good Devo fan.
Riddler. Give it time, Martin. Give it time.
He's conquered the injury.
Kyle, do you have a bust you want to say?
I'm gonna go ahead. It's looking
What?
at me funny right now, but
We already are.
I thought you were
'cause
just
of
saying you were
that.
going to get a lot of head. I'm like,
I'm gonna say Devin Booker because really, he's a shooter. He gets hurt all the time. If you don't put anybody around him, he's never gonna go anywhere.
okay.
No, like there's a big difference. He's not the guy that could take the team to the top. He's not. People compare him to Kobe, but I don't see any resemblance.
He's a dual guy. He needs like a big man that can score.
He had a 70-point game on his own.
Okay, so they
Wow,
let him
you
shoot
got
the
How many
ball.
other players have had a 70-point game?
Doesn't matter. When you're the only person on the team that takes 45 shots, you can score 70.
So when he gets off of Phoenix and onto a good team,
You don't know if he's ever going to leave Phoenix. You can't say when he does because he might.
How
sign
many
an
players
extension.
in the NBA have stayed on the same team for their whole career?
Okay, how many people have?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I can't think of any.
not true.
In modern time, yeah, it is true.
Right now, Steph's been there for a while. He's probably going to end his
Steph,
career
okay.
there.
The guy, okay. So Steph Curry.
Am I
anyone
wrong?
else? But anyone else?
Let's see.
I do have one.
Yao was there the entire time.
Oh, all 6 years he played before he got hurt? I'm saying, dude, he's not going to be on Phoenix. And if he is on Phoenix, they're going to get talent. They're going to tank the same way you guys did and got all your talent.
I just
Get
don't
out of here.
see him being a superstar.
My,
like everyone thinks he is.
My potential bust that I see happening is Dak Prescott. I don't think he's ever
That's it.
going to just take the next step, and I think he's just going to what he is now. That's it. I don't think he's going to get any better. He can only go down.
Same with Kirk Cousins.
Cousins, though, I think can at least be explosive. He can throw the ball and take shots.
But he's stupid.
Picture Devin
He is.
Booker.
But
on the
now
Sixers.
he's on a Vikings team
Well, I
that
don't-
has two top
saying.
end
I
receivers.
don't think Kirk Cousins had the hype. Here's a guy who's kind of like, oh wait, this guy plays in the NFL.
No, I'm serious.
He's got the hype now.
I just don't see him being a superstar. That's
Forget
it.
LeBron. Picture Devin Booker on the Sixers with Ben Simmons dishing.
I don't see Devin Booker a superstar.
He already is.
He's not a superstar.
Guys, let's finish this in the car.
Already is.
He's a star.
All right, beer reviews real quick before we shout outs.
I don't remember how many.
It was very citrusy.
Very citrusy, I'll agree. I forgot to mention that the closer did come in for this one.
I also had the closer come in.
I didn't even realize it.
The Hog Lager, I tell you, this has been one of like my go-tos for the last couple months. Big fan of it. Pick it up.
These are so refreshing.
Well, it ain't good. Turned out to be this guy right here. The Mount Greylock Porter is very good. I much like Paul, I'm a Porter Stout fan. 6.2%. Yeah, you never just you never disagree with me. Very good. I highly recommend it. If you're looking for something, especially in the morning time,
Nice Sunday morning.
Sunday
beer.
morning beer.
I think that's my
Highly
favorite part
recommend.
about this show. Is usually I wake up with the kid at like 6, 7, and then sleep until the show, and then it's like, all right, no breakfast, let's get drinking.
It's the best
It's the best way to start a Sunday.
So I had from Firefly Hollow the Lizard's Breath IPA. Went a solid 8 innings, 3 hits given up, 1 home run.
Not bad. It was a wall scraper too, at best.
Oh yeah, it was really good. It wasn't that bitter. It was very dank. But pretty good, especially for an IPA that is 6.5%, right in the realm. It's very good.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend. They put out some good stuff, cone flakes, all that stuff they put out, and then the closer, the Not Your Father's Mountain Ale citrus brew, was very citrusy. J-Mart.
So let's see. Had 3 beers today.
Yeah, Mock had to work. J-Mart had to work through the bullpen.
Very, very different with each beer. Narragansett,
Thank you.
nice in between chug to separate a Ghost from this Mountain Dew with alcohol in it. Guys are Ghosts. I actually don't feel the heartburn yet, so I'm really
Yeah, because
happy.
you've been all over the beer spectrum.
Oh
today.
yeah, and the Mountain Ale is a good citrus brew. Am I right, Kyle?
That's all it is.
Mock.
Be sure Tuesday night on the Peter Pino Show, Sumo Sidecar will be here in studio, and Wednesday night they'll have comedian Dave Sheehan in studio. Check him out. Tuesday and Wednesday from 7:30 to 10:30 here on PPRN.
Dave Sheehan, son of Mark T. Sheehan.
That I can't confirm. Be sure to find us on Facebook and Instagram at Getting Sports with Drunk. Twitter is GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether you're bathing in frog water or drinking a delicious citrus brew.
Oh.
Make sure you look
meet
out.
and greet at the diner. You can come meet the cat.
Make sure you listen Saturday. We're not sure if we're going to be live yet or not, but from the Bad Fisherman Brewing event, check it out. Subscribe on Podbean.
Is that this Saturday?
Yes. Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and we are now also on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Yeah. So anywhere you can listen to radio, you
Basically,
can find
there's
us.
no reason you can't listen to us.
At this point, you're
That's
just
not true.
avoiding us.
I can think of one reason.
What's that?
We're terrible.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
You can still find us, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
We
from
know where you live.
all of us here at Getting Sports with Drunk, I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm Mock.
Sheen Washable.
No.
Kyle.
I don't like that.
Jim Fredette.
Oh, God.
How did he not make the list?
And I'm the Red Baron.
Fredette.
Yeah.